So this guy comes from one of the most powerful legal families in South Carolina, a family that's been running the local justice system for like 100 years. And he thinks he can get away with anything because of his name, but one phone call to 911 exposes not just one crime, but decades of lies, theft, and unthinkable acts. His name is Alex Murdaugh. He's 53 years old in 2021, and he's a personal injury lawyer from Hampton County, South Carolina, where his family is basically royalty. The Murdaugh family has been in charge of the local prosecutor's office for 3 generations, spanning 87 years. So when a Murdaugh speaks in this county, people listen, judges listen, police listen, because this family has that much power and influence. Alex works at his family's law firm. He's living in this huge estate called Moselle with his wife Maggie and their 2 sons. And from the outside, this family seems to have it all. Money, status, respect, the perfect Southern dynasty. But behind the scenes, Alex is hiding some really dark secrets. On the night of June 7th, 2021, Alex calls 911 at 10:07 p.m. And he's hysterical, saying he just came home and found his wife Maggie and his 22-year-old son Paul at their property. And they've both been shot, and he's panicking, telling the dispatcher to send help immediately. Police arrive at Moselle, which is this massive 1,700-acre hunting estate, and they find Maggie, who's 52, near the dog kennels on the property, and she's been hit multiple times with a rifle. They find Paul near the same area, and he's been hit with a shotgun at close range. Both have passed away, and the scene is absolutely brutal. Investigators immediately focus on the fact that 2 different weapons were used, which is unusual. And they start interviewing Alex, asking him about his movements that night, and his story is that he was visiting his mother, who has Alzheimer's, and when he returned home around 10 p.m. he discovered his wife and son. Now here's where this case takes a turn, because the Murdaugh family has so much influence in this county, and there's immediate skepticism from the public about whether the investigation will be fair. People start digging into the family's history, and they uncover a pattern of suspicious incidents connected to the Murdaughs. Just 2 years earlier, in 2019, Paul Murdaugh was involved in a boating incident where he was driving his father's boat while intoxicated, and the boat crashed and a 19-year-old girl named Mallory Beach passed away. Paul was facing charges for this, and the case was ongoing at the time of his passing. And some people speculate that maybe someone connected to Mallory's family wanted revenge. But then investigators start looking more closely at Alex himself, and what they discover is absolutely shocking. They find out that Alex has been taking money from his law firm, millions of dollars over many years, stealing from client settlements, creating fake accounts, forging documents, running this massive financial fraud scheme. They discover he has a serious painkiller addiction, spending tens of thousands of dollars on pills, and that his entire life is built on lies and stolen money. Then just 3 months after Maggie and Paul's passing, in September 2021, Alex calls 911 again, this time reporting that someone shot him in the head while he was changing a tire on the side of the road. He's rushed to the hospital with a superficial head wound, and he tells police that someone in a passing truck shot him, and investigators are thinking maybe this is related to his wife and son's case. Maybe someone is targeting the Murdaugh family. But here's the plot twist that nobody sees coming. Within days, Alex admits that he actually arranged his own shooting, that he paid a former client named Curtis Smith to shoot him so that his surviving son Brock could collect a $10 million life insurance policy. The plan was for Curtis to shoot him in the head, but make it look like a random attack, except Curtis didn't shoot him hard enough, just grazed him, and the whole scheme fell apart. Alex is immediately arrested for insurance fraud and conspiracy. And this is when law enforcement decides to take a much harder look at him for Maggie and Paul's passings, because now they know he's capable of elaborate deception. As investigators dig deeper into Alex's finances, they discover he didn't just steal from his law firm, he stole from his clients, including a settlement meant for his family's housekeeper, who passed away after falling at their home in 2018. The housekeeper's family was supposed to get a significant settlement, but Alex pocketed most of the money. They find out he stole from the family of a young man who was paralyzed in a car accident, money that was supposed to pay for the victim's care Alex took it. The total amount of money Alex stole is estimated at nearly $9 million, and he was using it to fund his drug addiction and maintain his expensive lifestyle. In July 2022, more than a year after the passings, Alex Murdaugh is finally charged with the homicides of his wife Maggie and son Paul. Prosecutors argue that Alex did this because his financial crimes were about to be exposed. He was about to lose everything, and in his mind, creating sympathy as a grieving husband and father might buy him time and deflect attention from his theft. The trial begins in January 2023, and it becomes a massive media spectacle with people following every detail. The prosecution's case is circumstantial but compelling. They present cell phone data showing that Maggie and Paul's phones stopped all activity at 8:49 p.m, suggesting that's when they passed away. They show that Alex lied about his whereabouts, initially claiming he wasn't at the kennels that evening, but then a video from Paul's phone recorded just minutes before the incidents captures Alex's voice at the kennels, proving he was there. They present evidence that Alex changed his clothes between the incidents, and when police arrived, that he tried to create an alibi by visiting his mother, and that he had financial motive because Maggie was about to discover his theft and Paul's legal troubles were bringing unwanted attention to the family's finances. They bring in ballistics experts who testify about the weapons used, and interestingly, they find that the weapons match guns that were on the Murdaugh property, though the actual weapons are never recovered. The defense argues that Alex loved his family, that he had no reason to harm them, that the evidence is circumstantial, and that police rushed to judgment because of Alex's admitted financial crimes. But the prosecution systematically dismantles Alex's credibility, showing how he lied repeatedly to investigators, how he manipulated people throughout his life, how he stole from vulnerable clients, and how his entire existence was built on deception. Here's another twist that emerges during the trial. Investigators reveal they're also looking into the 2015 passing of Stephen Smith, a 19-year-old whose body was found on a road near the Murdaugh property in what was ruled a hit and run, but had always seemed suspicious, and Stephen's mother has maintained that the Murdaugh family was somehow involved, though no charges have been filed in that case yet. They're also re-examining the 2018 passing of the Murdaugh's housekeeper Gloria Satterfield, whose fall down the stairs at their home was originally ruled accidental. But now there are questions about whether it was really an accident, especially since Alex stole the settlement money meant for her family. After a 6-week trial and less than 3 hours of deliberation, the jury finds Alex Murdaugh guilty on all counts, and he's sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. When the verdict is read, Alex shows little emotion, just stares straight ahead, and the courtroom is packed with people who've been affected by his crimes, from client families he stole from to Mallory Beach's family. During sentencing, the judge gives a powerful statement, talking about how Alex had every advantage in life, came from a prominent family, had education and opportunity, and he used all of that to manipulate and harm people, including his own family. Alex maintains his innocence regarding the passings, though he admits to the financial crimes, and he claims that someone else ended his wife and son's lives, but investigators and prosecutors are confident they got the right person. What makes this case so remarkable is how it exposed the dark underbelly of Southern legal dynasties and showed that no amount of family power and influence can protect you when the evidence is overwhelming. The Murdaugh family name, which commanded respect for nearly a century in South Carolina, is now associated with corruption, theft, and tragedy, and the law firm that bore their name has shut down. Multiple investigations are still ongoing into other suspicious incidents connected to the Murdaugh family, and more charges and revelations may still come. The case also highlights how addiction, financial pressure, and the desperation to maintain appearances can drive people to unimaginable acts, and how someone can present one face to the world while hiding terrible secrets behind closed doors.